My name is Jenny Boyer, and if you have been invited to listen to this opportunity call, or really rather opportunity video, please take it as a compliment. The person who invited you to watch this thinks a lot of you. So I'll just jump right in. Like I said, my name is Jenny Boyer, and I got started with Rodan+Fields 22 months ago. At the very beginning of 2016, my family was looking like we were about to make a really big change. Our healthcare had changed. My husband is a veterinarian who works at a small business, a small practice, and we did not have health insurance for our family of 5 provided through his company. So with the healthcare changes of 2016, we were looking at paying around $1,700 a month for our healthy family of 5. And with that, basically meant I was looking at going back to work. By trade, I'm a registered nurse. I was a labor and delivery nurse, and I went back to school. One Christmas Eve, basically, I made a decision. Pre-children, I looked around and I was working with sisters and aunts and moms and grandmothers, and I just knew that I didn't want to work nights, weekends, and holidays when I had children. Of course, I didn't have them yet, but I walked away from that career, went back to school, got a degree in exercise physiology. I, in fact, loved my job with that so much. I actually worked with bariatric surgery patients, pre- and post-surgical, but I actually got a master's degree in that. And after the birth of our first son, I went back to work thinking I had it made. I was going to work Monday through Friday, half day on Friday. I would have nights, weekends, and holidays off, and I was going to be a working mom. But God had something else in store for me, and I wasn't only not excited to go back to work and be a working mom, but I didn't want to at all. I wanted to be at home with, at that time, our one child, but our one child turned into 2, which also turned into another. And 3 years later, we had 3 children, 4 and under, and healthcare had increased. And my husband and I sat down at the beginning of 2016 and looked at the very real possibility of me going back to work, because we needed to add that additional income and get those benefits for our family. It wasn't something that I was looking forward to do, but I wasn't opposed to it. I was just sad, because we make things work. That's just kind of what we do, right? As adults, we make things work. So the opportunity for Rodan+Fields was presented to me when I was job searching by my sister-in-law, and she asked me if I wanted to do this with her. And quite honestly, I rolled my eyes and said, we're educated and we're busy. I have 3 children, 4 and under. You have 4 children, 5 and under, and you're pregnant with your 5th. I'm not sure why you're doing this. You're a physician's assistant. We have degrees. Why? Why would I do something like this? I don't think it's a good idea. I don't actually think it's a good idea for you either. And she said, well, you might look into it. You might look into the business model. You might look into the doctors who created, they're the doctors who created Proactive. And right then and there, it kind of stopped me dead in my tracks, simply because I did know who Proactive was. I did know what Proactive had done in the acne market. And so I did kind of start doing a little bit of research. She approached me in January, and I sat up at night for about 2.5 weeks researching the company. And what I found was these doctors who had created Proactive had taken it to 183 countries, were a multi-billion-dollar brand, had actually sold Proactive. They sold it, and they were still practicing dermatologists. So, you know, anybody who had created something like Proactive certainly didn't need to work anymore. So that was intriguing to me that they would still be practicing dermatologists. Not only did I find that they were still practicing dermatologists, but they were actually still teaching at Stanford Dermatology School as well, which was also a really big, that spoke to me because they, like I said, didn't need the money. They didn't need to be continuing to help people in the capacity that they were. So they were still practicing dermatologists, helping people with their skin. They were still teaching dermatological students, helping the future of dermatology. They sold Proactive, and now they had created a skincare line that addressed every single skincare concern. So sensitive skin, acne, dark spots, and anti-age. And they had taken it into high-end retail, your Nordstroms, your Macy's, your Bloomingdale's, those kinds of stores. And they had pulled out after 5 years to enter into direct sales. Not because they weren't doing well. In fact, they were actually the #1 selling skincare brand in those stores. So they had surpassed Clinique and Lancome and Estee Lauder, those household names that we're so used to seeing since the 1930s and 40s and 50s. But they entered into direct sales to do the exact same thing that they were doing with all of the rest of the avenues of work, I guess, is what you would maybe call it, of their life. They put it in the hands of people like you and me. So they clinically proved these products. What does that mean? Not necessarily a big deal to anybody who hasn't ever read or written any clinical research, but I've done a little bit of it, and my best representation of this is penicillin. It's been clinically researched, clinically trialed, and clinically proven to do what it's supposed to do. So for instance, your strep throat. If you were to be prescribed penicillin and you were to take it for 2 days, then you started feeling better and you stopped taking your penicillin, and then the strep throat came back, the doctor would first ask you when you came back, did you take all 10 days, twice a day of that penicillin? And you'd say, oh, you know what? I felt better after like 3 days, so I stopped taking it. It's been clinically proven and trialed to work when used correctly, twice a day for 10 days. So that's why your strep throat comes back. But these products are the same thing. They're clinically trialed and proven to work when used correctly. So these doctors did all this clinical research, they bottled it up, they packaged it nicely, and then they branded it with their name, which is a reputable brand. It's a reputable name. You know who they are. They're the doctors who created Proactive. And they pulled out of high-end retail so that they weren't paying 50% of what they were bringing in to these people who didn't necessarily need it, right? These big companies, these Nordstroms, these Macy's, these Bloomingdale's, things like that. They put it in the hands of people like you and me so that we could leverage their hard work, their brand, their products, and we could talk to the people that we knew about that. So they gave us their billion-dollar brand with products that worked, that were clinically proven to work for every skincare concern. And they said, here, we know that in today's society, people look to their friends to take advice. If they want to go to a new restaurant, they ask for a suggestion from their friends. It's going to be no different in this avenue. So this was 10 years ago. And ever since pulling out of direct sales, they've actually doubled in their revenue every single year since. And in this past year, 2016, so we're in 2018 now, but in the past actual full year before this, in 2016 we became a billion-dollar brand. So what they did is they took their clinically researched and proven products, packaged them, branded them. They are a billion-dollar brand. We were recently named #1 across all skincare points, and gave it to us, people like you and me, to leverage from our phones. So what does that mean for me? It means that that I jumped in 22 months ago because I thought, wow, why wouldn't I just, at least try? I'm willing to go back to work and work for someone else to build their dream. Why wouldn't I at least try to do this? So that's exactly what I did. I jumped in on February 15th, and within 3 months time frame, I had reached the top 2% of the company. Within 10 months time frame, I had matched my husband's salary as a 14-year veterinarian, and by my 20th month in the company, I was making 2.5 times what he brought home that month. So now I drive a free car from the company, and this coming from a girl who was extremely skeptical, thought she might be too good for it, really was quite busy. I had a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-month-old, and at the time, like I said, we needed to make ends meet. I was cleaning houses in our neighborhood, and I had about 1 house per day. So on top of, doing all the laundry and all the cooking and all of the cleaning and the tending to the children, because they don't ever stop needing things all day long every day, I was also cleaning other people's houses. So I was so busy, I didn't actually know what I was going to do, but I made it work because I was able to do it from my phone, and that was a big thing for me. So if you are thinking about doing this, if you are thinking about joining our team, please know this. The company speaks for itself. The products are clinically researched, trialed, and backed with a 60-day money-back guarantee. The team that you would be joining is the fastest growing team in Rodan+Fields history. And I would say that your team matters. Just like the national championship game is on tonight, your team matters. You can't just join any team and expect success. You have to know that you will get the support and the encouragement and basically the path. They should show you the path on how to go, and we have that. We have that written out in literally a checklist format. So if this is something that you are thinking about doing, I would encourage you to go ahead and try, because even our business comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. You have nothing to lose. Thanks for your time.